but tell them it's all for the broken. 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 Tell them it's all for the broken. Yeah. It's all for the broken. Yeah. It's all for the broken. Yeah. It's all for the broken. Boy, look around and need hope. No question about it. Can't get around the whole world.
Hello. Thank you for joining us today. We are back with another episode of Healing Broken Souls. I am Jaria.
I am Taisha.
Benny here.
And John.
All right, so we last time we were here, we talked about handling broken promises. And we thought that today we might talk a little bit about powerlessness. Powerlessness. Do y'all know what powerlessness means? Anybody?
Not having power.
That's what half the country's going through right now with these storms.
Not having control.
Not having control.
Not being able to. Yeah, just not having control. That's
a sense of worthlessness.
Okay. A sense of worthlessness, not having control. Taisha, what you say?
Not having power.
Well, you can't use a word for
the definition.
Being powerless. Powerlessness, right?
Yeah, what is it?
Not having control. Not being in control.
Okay.
Vulnerability.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay. So if we were to turn off all these bright lights we got in front of us right now and disconnect them from the receptacle that gives them their power, would these lights still be bright?
No.
Why not?
It'll be dark.
Because they ain't plugged in.
They ain't plugged.
There's no source of energy.
Yeah, there's no source to
draw from.
Yeah, to make it draw from or produce its desired effect, okay? So when we're looking at powerlessness, it's often in times of issues in our lives. So let's figure this out this way. So I want each one of you to pick a superhero that you feel you're emblematical of. One superhero. No options, no secondaries, just one. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
There you go.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Why?
Because I'm always trying to be there and do everything and fix everything.
But you're wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
That's different. I like Spider-Man too, but I'm a woman.
Well,
I got a Spider Woman. All right, Taisha. Storm.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow, that's
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay, girl.
Yes.
All right, why Storm?
Because I feel like, listen, I ain't seen a lot of her, but I do feel like she's always trying to help, but she will bring that storm when she needs to bring it.
Okay. She's kind of regal too.
She's a little bit, but it's all good because Halle Berry wasn't wrinkled. So
Okay. All right, John, you're up, buddy.
It's got to be Batman. Got to be Batman.
Okay, Batman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. He's resourceful.
Okay.
He's intelligent.
Okay.
And he's always trying to help people become restored.
Pastor.
I said you can't have two, but I'm only going to pick one today.
Just one.
Just one. I'm going to say Wolverine.
Okay.
Wolverine because he's strong. What he does isn't very nice, but what he does, he's the best at. And I see that in a lot of areas of I'm a nice guy, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
I'm a nice guy. I'm not running around here stabbing folks.
Please don't.
But he gets to the core and he makes people really look at themselves and what they're facing. You know, that sometimes they see the brutality of his presence, but they don't see the heart of his person. You know, so and that's what a lot of people miss. Even in the comics, they don't see his his human nature is really the better side of him.
He does the brutality so that we don't have to.
Yes, absolutely. So, and the reason I'm asking you to pick, because each one of these characters have some power. Okay, except Bruce Wayne, he ain't got no power. I mean,
he
Batman.
doesn't, but
Of course. That's why I picked him.
but he's resourceful. You know,
He's
he gets the
resourceful.
job done.
He's the one that can take all of the strengths and weaknesses of all of the different superheroes, and he knows their weakness. And then if he needs to, he can bring that weakness out because Superman gave him a kryptonite ring so that if Superman ever turns evil, that he had the power to destroy Superman. So it's one of those things where, you know, he's gained the trust of people that he would be the one that would be able to step up and do what was necessary to protect mankind.
But without his money, he broke. He can't do none of it.
Again, he's resourceful. How do you think he got all of his money? It wasn't just from mom and dad.
So I just picked John's character apart. Now, Wonder Woman, okay?
Yes.
So we're not going to pick on Miss Wonder Woman too hard. But what makes her the heroine you feel she is? And what are her weaknesses?
To me, because Wonder Woman is strong and she's a fixer.
She's a fixer.
She's also a goddess compared to everyone else. That's what
Yeah.
they say.
But if you look at the thread throughout comic book history, she's short-sighted. Okay, and she's not willing oftentimes to bend. But she always comes out on the side of right.
Comes out on top.
She comes out on top.
I do
That's
try.
That's the way the scripts are written.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And Taisha, who was yours again?
Storm,
Storm.
the Halle Berry version.
Yes.
The Halle Berry version. Why the Halle Berry version?
Because that's the only one I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it? Well, there was the other girl.
There's the first class, Jennifer.
Yeah, the first class.
Yep.
I think she's only been in live action twice. Okay. But see, here's the thing with the Halle Berry version. She wasn't very powerful,
She was.
was she?
She was.
Oh, yeah. You control the elements? Come on.
But she couldn't control anything else.
That was it.
Are you supposed to control everything as far as a superhero?
Preach, Pastor. No, because
That's where the powerless comes in at.
That's why they have the Justice League.
Oh, so she does better in a team.
Well, everybody does, don't we?
Now, if I pick my character apart, when he gets beyond control of his own temper, he's no good to nobody.
Yeah,
No.
but you got Jenny Gray who keeps him in check. Remember his
Well,
love.
that's a
Look,
whole other
no.
arena right now.
Pastor John's preaching.
So what does all this have to do with powerlessness? I know our audience is wondering. There are times when you have the ability and the power to do some things and then you don't. One philosopher says that power and control is an illusion that most people live by, and it's not real. Power and control are illusions that most people live by and is not real. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's very true because all it takes is one little thing to throw everything off kilter.
And then you have no control.
And then you have no control.
And you can plot out the greatest plan ahead of you, and yet there's always something that is left unthought of.
There are millions of people in the world today that say they're not going to vote because they feel that they are powerless and that the vote doesn't matter. There are a million of people today that feel because of their social and economical situation, they are powerless because they can't make their situation any better. there are a million people in the world today that feel that they can't do anything about their housing or food issues because they don't have the necessary resource. They feel powerless. What do you say to this?
Oh, that is true.
Especially you don't know where to turn to.
It goes back to the source.
Okay.
You got to find the source.
And you also have to add in the emotional aspects of it all, because those often come in sort of like our kryptonite.
Pride.
You know,
Pride.
it's one of those things where our emotions can cause us to falsely think things through.
Yes.
Okay. So for a lot of us, and like we hear it on this panel, we believe in God and we believe in Jesus Christ. That's our power source. But there are times we don't feel very spiritual and we're powerless, we feel.
There's times that we turn the switch off ourselves because what we want to do needs to be in the dark.
Okay.
And that's how I felt when my baby was just in the hospital, because I was powerless. I didn't have any control over what was going on, and I could not fix it.
Okay. But why did you have to fix it? Why couldn't you leave it to the professionals?
Because that's my baby.
Well, not only that, the professionals don't have all the answers either.
No.
And we who are close to our loved ones, I'll put it out there, we feel it's our obligation
Yes.
to fix them. And we have to know and understand that there is no way on God's green earth that we can fix somebody.
Well, one of the things I remember my wife telling me, she said, I don't need you to fix anything. I just need you to listen. And that left me totally powerless because I did not know how to listen back then.
I was going to say, you're a therapist, and this is not good PR for your clients.
I said back then.
Back
Okay? Now, I'm a very good listener, okay? There's a book out called 9 Things You Shouldn't Say, so everybody should go get that book. But I also read a book on boundaries written by Cloud and Townsend. And they're talking in one of their books that there are conversations that need to be had, but we are powerless to talk about them. You know, most couples have issues that they need to talk about, but feel powerless even in the way that they're going to present this to their spouse, and because they fear what might be said or how the person would take it, and they feel powerless.
I need to go get that book.
So do you think, you know, because I'm actually planning on doing a book that's going to be called The Taboos of Church, talking about the things that the church should be talking about, but they're not. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we have these things that we're afraid to talk about. So like when you were talking about the relationship between a husband and a wife, and there's certain things that you should be talking about, what would you say some of the taboos of relationships are that causes us to not speak on those things?
Well, for one thing, and y'all can chime in when you feel ready. One thing I think that people need to talk about is their honest feelings, how they're feeling in regards to treatment or expectations. And so people love the person, they marry the person, they live with the person, but as time goes, they begin to lose their identity or change into someone, and then they become powerless in the relationship.
Yeah, they lose their self.
Yeah, they lose themselves.
Or they try to become what the other person wants instead of being themselves.
What do you do for the person that closes off their feelings?
It's only for a little bit.
Well, not
always.
necessarily.
It depends, because I feel like that can hurt also. You close off the feelings, then you're not showing me your true self. And then how are we supposed to grow if we can't be honest with each other?
Okay, that goes back to what John's asking. How do you talk about a powerless conversation where the person has closed themselves off and don't have the ability to speak honestly to their spouse or to their family member. Some parents won't even be honest with their own kids. No matter what baby, everything's going to be fine. No, everything is not going to be fine. And no, everything's not going to be peaches and cream. You finna go through some hard days and some sleepless nights. Mm-hmm. And parents refuse to be honest with their children.
I try to tell my son.
Okay.
Because you're setting that child up. You're almost setting that child up to go into a world of like a make-believe world. So when they do go through something, they ain't going to have no idea how to deal with it.
And not unless powerless.
Not unless you give them the parent curse.
The parent curse.
The parent curse.
What's the parent curse?
we did this with our
Let me see
kids.
if I'm using it.
So this is where we sit them down. They're of age to be able to rationalize something. And we say to them, when you grow up, we want you to have kids just like you.
I'm dealing with that right now.
And then when it happens, all three of my kids have come up to us on separate occasions and said,
sorry.
Can you reverse the curse? No, it's lifelong.
Oh my God.
And I have just one.
Oh wow. You're going to get a boatload out of one.
So if you want to prepare your kids, that's what you do.
I don't even know where to go from there.
Me either, but I was gonna say I think my mom did prepare me, but I just as kids you used to hear your parents say, "Stay in the child's place." Mm-hmm. I want to stay in the child's place right now because being an adult is hard.
So, do you feel powerless as an adult?
In some situations,
sometimes.
In what way, if you don't mind sharing?
I would have to say, I guess sometimes as a parent, because sometimes you feel like you're failing.
Okay.
And again, sometimes it's hard to, I don't think it's hard for me to speak to my child. I want to let my child know the real. I just don't want to say it in a way where he think it's going to be hurtful or not going to benefit him.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't tell him the truth, then
I'm going to tell him the truth.
You're going to leave him powerless.
No. In a situation that just happened, I tried to guide him and let him know about buying a vehicle. Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't listen to me. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't listen to other people. Mm-hmm. So now instead of buying a 2013 Impala, he went and bought a 2002 Honda Accord. Oh, wow. And now it's done broke down.
All right, Tasia, what about you?
Can you repeat the question?
I don't know, I forgot it.
Me too.
In what situations do you feel powerless?
Maybe like if something doesn't go the way you plan, especially with your kids or with your family, and then it's out of your hands and it's something that you still have to deal with. Because I feel like as a parent, you want to control everything and make sure everything goes right. Sometimes being a wife, you got to do that for your husband too. You got to thank for him, do for him, and
she said thank for him.
She said thank for him.
Thank for him.
But just sometimes, especially me as a first-time mom, I want to make sure everything goes smoothly, correctly for my daughter.
That's not going to happen.
So yeah, when it doesn't happen, you feel powerless, like you're out of control. And
so what do?
You wing it. You pray to God. You talk to your family, whatever you can do to get through it. But I've learned that everything always seems to work out. I try not to stress a lot about certain things. I try to do it like that.
Okay.
Pastor John.
For me. Okay. So this is where I can identify with God. Not that I am God or anything, but it's one of those things where you look at the people that you love, and just like God tells us the rights and wrongs, what we should do and what we shouldn't do, going on knowing that because you've experienced these things in the past, you tell your kids or your spouse or whoever not to do these things, and they still choose to do them, and you're helpless to take away the pain that you knew was coming, and the sorrow that goes along with it. And God looks at us that way and is saying, if you just would have listened, you could have spared yourself of all of this.
I see that a lot. I'm sorry. I see that a lot with parents that have older kids that are grown up and everything. My mom, it doesn't matter how old we get, she still looks at us as little kids. So she wants to fix everything that we all go through. And when she can't, I think sometimes she puts that on herself because she's mom. She wants to fix it. So I can see that, with a lot of the older.
So I can say for us on this panel that I would say our source would be to turn to our loved ones and turn to God. But what do we say to the people who aren't spiritual like us? What is their source? What do they do?
Well, when you look at a person that doesn't have, every person has a belief system, whether it's God, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, atheism.
Your favorite politician, your favorite.
Their movie star. But I think the one thing that when you look at the issue of powerlessness, you have to look at what abilities you do have. And you have to look at the strengths you do have that's in you. A lot of powerlessness is promoted by self-doubt, low self-esteem, some type of trauma. And if you don't have faith, then you can go talk to someone. You can go talk to a therapist, a mentor, someone you trust and confide in. A lot of people revert to alcohol and drugs, but you don't have to revert to those. You can go find someone that you think is a mentor to you, have characteristics that maybe you're missing, they can help you grow in. I remember doing an assignment for school one time. It said, pick a person that you admire and pick 4 characteristics about them that you admire. And I picked Paul the Apostle because Paul was a good man and a bad man, but I admire that in each of his life, he knew what he believed and he believed what he knew, and that he also was willing to accept as he became Paul, the shortcomings of his life and the failures in his life. But he did not let that stop him. So he gained strength in hardship. So
And see, this is where we can use the example when you have a piece of string and you pull on it, it breaks. When you add a second one to it and twist it, it's harder to break. And when you add the third one, it's almost impossible to break. And this is where, like you were saying, Benny, that when we get other people to come alongside of us and to support us and to wrap themselves around us, that we become that much stronger, and it's a lot harder for the world to tear us apart because we have that relationship with one another.
And you have to grow in your trust, and that's another important part. The trust is really not for you, for the person you're trusting, but the trust is for you. Just like forgiveness is. Can you trust this person to feel empowered just for a little bit, for a little while? If nothing else, if nothing but hearing their voice can pull you off a precipice or whatever the case is, I miss my mother, but my mother, all I had to do was hear her voice, and when I be mad, and all I had to hear it says, you better go home. I'm like a 10-year-old with my head hung down, walking into the house, and here I am going on 60, but I can still hear even that now that she left me with the power of her voice, that I can remember the strength and the courage that's still there. So we got a few minutes left on this podcast. We talked about our superheroes. So I want you to empower the people today with just one simple saying that will help them be empowered. Let's start at
on my end or your end?
Go in.
Ladies first.
And you said one saying
that can empower someone. Something somebody gave you, you remember, mother's wit.
Always be you and trust in yourself.
Okay. Jay.
I took what you were going to say.
No, you didn't. I was just going to say, The serenity prayer.
Okay, John.
It's going to sound weird coming from me.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg, drop it like it's hot. To drop the things that's holding you back. To be able to, I told
Thank you for clearing that up.
But you know,
Oh my God.
you invited me on here, brother. But we hold on to things for so long and for the wrong reasons. And if we were to just let go.
Yeah.
Okay. Where am I supposed to go from here? Just remember, you're ultimately responsible for the amount of chaos you allow into your life. Per Dr. Mullinex, you're ultimately responsible for the amount of chaos you allow into your life. Until the next show, God bless you. God be with
Thank
you. We'll talk to you later.
Look around, we need hope. Dark world, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope, need hope, need hope. Look around, we need hope. Broke world, we need hope. We all need hope. But tell them it's hope for the broken. 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 Tell them it's hope for the broken. Yeah. It's hope for the broken. Yeah. It's hope for the broken. Yeah. It's hope for the broken. Boy, look around, we need hope. No question about it. Can't get around the whole world around us need hope. No escaping.